going to get started now. Again, my name is Mark Miano. I head up our sales and partnerships here at Glew. If this is your not your first webinar, you've seen me talk before. But today we're going to be hosting one of our, like I said, one of our closest technology partners, Brightpearl. What we're going to be doing today is talking a little bit about our partnership and what has resulted out of that partnership, which is a unique offering that Brightpearl exclusively offers called Brightpearl Analytics by Glew. We'll be covering some intros first. We'll be covering just what business intelligence is and how it fits into the Brightpearl solution. And we'll even show you a little bit of the system too to get you excited. And we'll probably peel off for questions one-on-one afterwards. So I already introduced myself. My name is Mark. I head up our sales and partnerships here at Glew. I've been working here for a very long time. But Stu, did you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Mark, and thanks for hosting this. So, yeah, hi everyone. My name's Stuart Pick. I run strategic alliances and partnerships at Brightpearl. I've been at Brightpearl for 9 years now, which sounds scary to say. For those of you that don't know Brightpearl, we're a retail operations platform. So we look after all of the operational side of the back office. Effectively, we manage everything behind the buy button. So that buy button might be your Shopify e-commerce store, your BigCommerce store. It could be Amazon, could be other marketplaces. And the most important thing is that we automate that stuff so that when you and I are shopping online, we get what we ordered, when we ordered it, good communication if we need to send it back or exchange it. It's a nice, smooth process. And I think probably more important than ever, global pandemic, we're all forced to shop online. We want to make sure that when we're placing those orders, we get a really good service. Our clients are typically multi-channel businesses, established companies, generally selling finished goods, and they're looking for that next level of efficiency. They're looking for automation. They often recognize it's not just the products that they're selling, it's the service and the way that they sell it that's really important and the real differentiator. And I think the key thing is that the more automated those processes, the more we can strip out those manual tasks and activities that people are doing, the better experience that drives loyalty and repeat customers and things like that. And I'm just going to quickly, I'll just explain my role and then I'll come on to how this is relevant to Glew. So I specifically manage relationships and integrations with technology partners. I'm always looking for ways that we can extend and complement our own platform. We could try and build everything ourselves, but I think by the time we were finished, the world would have moved on. And so I'm always looking for technologies that can help our merchants to grow, be more efficient. And we're looking for partners and technologies where they really bring a level of expertise. There's obviously lots of functionality and things that we build ourselves, but there's some things that just make sense to partner, because often those partners and those technologies, they own the solving of those problems and they do it really well. And that's absolutely true when it comes to BI and analytics. So Mark, I want to kick off and I want to ask you a question, because I don't want to assume that everyone listening knows what BI and analytics is. And certainly the first time I spoke to you 2 years ago, everything I thought I knew about analytics and BI, I had to just kind of, rewrite my memory. So why don't you give us an idea? What is BI? Why does it matter? Give us some examples. Why is it important right now?
Yeah, thanks, Stu. It's definitely a very important question and a loaded one, right? But let's say you wanted to start from scratch and you Googled what BI is online, right? What it would tell you is that business intelligence are the strategies and the technologies used by enterprises to analyze their data, to change their behavior for the more profitable, right? That's like that textbook definition that someone would feed you if you were in a library. But what I want to split apart in there is that it's both the technologies, plural, and strategies together, combined, which is what provides the insight that everyone in this call, especially at Brightpearl, are going to need to change their behavior for the more profitable, right? That involves more than one source. It involves critical thinking on either my part and your part or both, right? So it's definitely a important piece of the business, but also probably the most expensive and complex ones, if not done correctly. Now, what's really exciting about Brightpearl and Glew is that business intelligence for this market is both more important and it's more complex at the same time. So what do I mean by that? Well, relative to other industries, me and Stu's clients, you guys use way more sources than other industries, right? So for example, let me take maybe a hospital system, okay? Well, they have their electronic medical records, right? They probably have an insurance type of company and relationship to get paid, and maybe a few other sources, right? I don't want to discount a hospital system, but think about a huge billion-dollar hospital system compared to one of our multi-channel clients that might have 50 or 60 or 70 different sources they're using to operate their business. And where a hospital system has billions of dollars and using maybe a few sources, it's all relative, right? That smaller business has a much more complex back office. The second thing, though, on top of that complexity means there's more data. And with more data comes more of an opportunity to make more profit because there's more to learn. So that is what business intelligence is. It's the actual blending of disparate data into one structure and thinking about all that data at once. But it's also the thinking part, which a lot of people don't or forget is a big part of it too. You also, in your questions, you asked me for like an example, right? So let's use a really easy one. Return on ad spend. That requires two sources, right? If we have a lot of, I know Brightpearl is a huge Shopify partner. Let's say that we want to measure our return on ad spend for our online initiatives in the UK, right? Well, revenue would be pulled out of Shopify, and then ad spend would be pulled out of Facebook, Instagram, AdWords, Bing, whatever. And you would think that to divide one over the other would be easy. Technically, that is extremely, extremely hard to do if you didn't have Glew and Brightpearl at once, right? Awesome. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and yeah. Thank you. And also, what would you say as well? Like, what would you say is the kind of the major outcomes? Like, what's the biggest thing that people achieve when they deploy, true BI, when they get the answers to those questions they're looking for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a great question. The overarching goal is always to maximize profit, which is obviously obvious, right? But very difficult to do. But to that end, there are going to be two mini goals on our quest to achieve that goal, which is identifying and winning the best customers, which are the customers with the tastes that allow them to buy more from you in the long term.
Yep.
And the second is upselling them over time.
Yep.
While staying in business with your cash flow, right? So those would be probably the three in order: is attracting the right customer, upselling them over time, while at the same time keeping your cash flow and liquidity alive, so that you can keep your operations moving.
Nice. And given, I guess, given the kind of current climate and where we're at and things like that, and also I'm very aware that lots of people listening and watching this, they probably don't know what they don't know. So have you got any kind of key KPIs and metrics that just everyone should be paying attention to just right now?
Yeah, so there are a couple of them that I hope to share at a high level with you on this call. One of them being, or the main one being lifetime value, okay? Lifetime value is the amount of money that someone's going to spend with your store until they die. And that is going to be the flagship KPI that we're going to start and end with and be applying to other areas of your business. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times when I say lifetime value, people are going to jump straight to the lifetime value of their business at the highest level. And you're right, that's important, and it's not easy to calculate that. But what we're going to do when you sign up with Brightpearl Analytics by Glew is start leveraging lifetime value in every area of your business. For example, I would sure like to know the lifetime value of the people who convert first from Facebook juxtaposed to Instagram. Or I would sure like to know the lifetime value of the customers who buy a free sample from me juxtaposed to the customers who don't. These are pivotal decisions that you don't have access to without a business intelligence system, because when you're looking at all of your data in a tabbed out world, right, which you're all used to, I got my Shopify tab, my Brightpearl tab, my Google Analytics tab, etc. You're looking at a lot of quantitative data, meaning a lot of just absolute volume of visits or the absolute volume of orders, etc., without the ability to overlay that qualitative metric, which is lifetime value, to justify and qualify the decisions that you're making every day. So I hope that answers your question, Stu, without kind of going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Wonderful.
Should we introduce Brightpearl Analytics?
Let's do it. Well, you've been asking all the questions, man. So I wanted to ask you a couple, which is going to be, you're the one who has the customers, right? We're the ones that are serving them. So why don't you let your clients know, like, why do you think Brightpearl and Glew mesh so well together from the operational end where you come from, as opposed to the analytical end where I come from?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think there's two answers to that. I think the first thing, and I've learned this from you. We've been talking about doing this for a good couple of years now. So it's good that we've kind of finally got this thing launched. I think it really comes. There's two parts. One is to get good, meaningful answers from the questions that you want to know about your business. You've got to have clean data, and you've got to have complete data. You can't ask those questions with wrong or partial information. It just doesn't make sense. And Brightpearl effectively is that engine. We've got all of the information that's available. We know that it's clean. We know it's real time. We know it's accurate. And then the second thing, believe it or not, is around the consumer experience, because one of the major issues, if you like, for retailers and brands is when they're running inefficient systems. The most common complaints online are people, not receiving their items, the wrong thing turns up, there's delays, clumsy and clunky returns and refunds processes, and all of these sorts of things, it impacts loyalty, repeat customers, it drives down customer lifetime value. You could do all the cross-sell and the upsell that you like. You could invest, thousands and thousands of dollars every month, but if those people have a bad experience the first time, they're never gonna buy from you again. And so the impact when we implement and we start to automate using Brightpearl is we remove those issues, and it's at that point where it makes the most sense to use the data, combining the e-com analytics and the data that's in Brightpearl to drive that cross-sell and that upsell opportunity. And that's why I think it works so well together. Fix those problems in the first place, and then we wheel in the Glew guys. We maximize that opportunity.
I love that. And for the audience, the metaphor that I think me and Stu like the most is when you're getting your business up and running, to do it without Brightpearl is like treading water, right? It's very, very tough to do other things when you're treading water, since it's so exhausting.
Yeah.
Once you get Brightpearl in place, you have that foundation you need so that you're standing on dry land. And then, and only then, would you now have the capability to truly unleash the growth of your business by building on top of that foundation in an intelligent way with something like Glew. So great answer, Stu. What I'm now going to do is do what you just requested and actually start showing some of the goodies and presenting to the Brightpearl world just what's in store for them, if that's all the same for you, unless you had any other questions. Hey, Abby, I'm going to do a quick mic check. Can you see my screen? Yep.
Yeah. Yep. All good. I'm going to toggle your videos off so we can see the screen a little bit bigger. Let me know if that looks good.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as you can see the screen, that's perfect. So let's go ahead and take a look at the architecture of what we're doing. Okay, you guys have to know that you can totally try to do this on your own. I wouldn't recommend it, because you'll be flushing about deep into the six figures down the toilet to get something inferior to what Brightpearl and Glew have already engineered for you out of the box. The idea is that we have these sources that you're using, right? We got Brightpearl, we got Shopify, we got all kinds of great data. And you're going to type in your credentials, and we're not going to waste our time in this gray box, but we're going to send you back your insights in one of two forms. The first form is called Glew.io. This is our software as a service product. Okay, it's our flagship product. It is universal to anyone using Glew, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. It will have an exclusive relationship with your e-commerce stores, right? We're going to hook right into Shopify or whatever e-commerce system that you're using and provide you thousands of analytics, alerts, and automations out of the box. The second output, though, is really where things get more profitable, if you will, which is something called Glew Plus, which is the custom reporting. This is where anything is possible, where we take what is called a BI tool. A BI tool that are very famous nowadays are like Tableau or Looker or Domo or ClickView or Periscope or Power BI, or I'll stop being obnoxious now. There's hundreds of them. We use a couple of select ones here, but the point of the BI tool is that it's just a visualization layer that we can use to innovate in. And what Brightpearl and Glew has done over the past few years is to create unique Brightpearl-centric visualizations and reports to be delivered and available to the Brightpearl ecosystem out of the box to truly add something special to what is the Brightpearl Analytics by Glew offering versus just what Glew offers out of the box on its own. Now, if you're looking at my screen right now, I am in the Glew.io section, okay? So I am up here in the little Glew.io out of the box reporting. And what you're gonna notice is that has a one-to-one relationship with each of your e-commerce storefronts. So, right, Brightpearl is a great operational ERP system, but we all know that sometimes it's a little bit more nimble and easier to just hook directly into the Shopify or e-commerce store directly. Now, what you're going to immediately do out of the box is have that ability to what I call triangulate data, which underpins business intelligence in general. And that triangle is the finances of your company, Google Analytics, and time. Now I can ask myself triangle questions, right? Like, I wonder what day of the week in the holiday season was most profitable for my mobile Google AdWords strategy in the UK. Try answering that with your tabbed out world. Well, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the UK store, and then I'm going to answer my question. I said holiday season. So, here in the Western area, it's November to December. I didn't say revenue. I said profit. I didn't say chronologically. I said day of the week. I didn't say for the whole business. I said specifically for AdWords, but mobile AdWords at that. I'd say a line chart's kind of bizarre. Let's make it a bar chart. And this is a season. So maybe a year-over-year analysis is more appropriate. And now I know that maybe Saturday is the day, all else being equal, that I'm going to want to go ahead and plan my attack for my mobile AdWords clients. If you like what you see, add a metric to a report or to a new report, and you can build out infinite amount of reports for yourself and schedule these babies to be hit as often or as inoften as you like. This is not a demo, guys. I really don't want to get cut in a feature, but there is one more feature out of Glew.io which will blow your hair back when it comes to thinking three-dimensionally. And that feature comes in the form of tables, okay? Product list, order list, customer list. There's all kinds of lists in Glew. And what we figured out is that the fastest and easiest way to enable you to think three-dimensionally won't actually be always in a visualization. Instead, by keeping some of the data in table format, providing you many predefined segments, like my most abandoned products, or my most profitable products, or my products sold from paid, or my top products sold from referrer. But more importantly, allowing you to use that triangle and all of its dimensions to create unlimited amounts of custom segments unleashes your ability to think critically. I wonder what the lifetime value is of all the people who bought first from me in Q1, who have an average order value greater than 50, who first converted off of organic, who live in California. Guys, it's not about the question, right? It's just about impressing hundreds of people at once on the call. First order date is after or on, let's say Q1, which would start in January here in the States. First order date is before or on, March 31st for a nice clean Q1. Their average order value is greater than or equal to 100. The state they live in is California. And the channel they first converted off of is organic. Again, not about the question per se, but the ridiculous extremes that you can go to answer any question that you need. And I can create my segment. I can analyze my segment. Maybe I create more than one segment. Excuse me. And I rank them in order of each other, like lifetime value or AOV or revenue. Or maybe what I do is after I create my segment, maybe I go ahead and sync it with my Klaviyo or my MailChimp email system to get the wondrous insights out of BrightPearl Analytics by Glew and locking and loading those insights into my ESP or my standard operating procedures every day so that I'm not mishmashing and drowning in CSV files.
Nice. Hey, Mark, I just want to make a really important point here, which is that all of this pretty much works out of the box, right out of the gate. And I've connected one of our own Shopify stores myself. I mean, it's literally username and password. The offering that we're delivering, this is one part of it, but this literally works out of the box. And actually one of the reasons, as you know, why we chose Glew, because we want our customers to be able to connect all of those different disparate sources of data, whether it's their ESP, their Google data, their e-commerce, whatever it happens to be, and concentrate on analyzing and starting to think about where they're gonna make decisions for the more profitable, to coin your phrase, not coding and spending, their investments on development and integrations and things like that. The whole point of Glew is that it's done for you, and that's one of the major reasons why we chose Glew as a partner.
Thank you, Stu. And you reminded me, I actually skipped over probably one of the most important cornerstones of understanding is this store settings page. So guys, what Stu is mentioning is it all starts here where, again, what was once a six-figure insane development project is you or BrightPearl or Glew or whoever has your credentials, just typing those credentials into this list. And with no effort on your part, everything me and Stu are showing you will be put on your doorstep. So I'm not going to scroll through this whole list, right, or we'll never finish the call. But just note that BrightPearl is going to be definitely the foundation of your data. But don't be afraid to go ahead and explore other sources like Stu said, Facebook and GA and Zendesk and Gorgeous, and there's infinite amounts of sources that release every day, and we're going to hook them up here. Very good. Nice. Now, what I'd love to show you guys is the whole cherry on top, if you will, which is the BrightPearl innovation. And the BrightPearl innovation is going to be delivered through this little area of the system called BI Tunnel. Okay, so I'm logged into Glew, right? Or you'll see here just where I began, and you're going to see nested in this little navigation bar here, this BI Tunnel button, and this is where we're going to deliver any custom reports that you could ever think of to your doorstep. Heck, I think everyone can handle it. I'm in a BI tool. I feel like Neo from the Matrix, right? Like, what am I looking at? But all you have to know is you're never going to have to deal with anything like this, nor have to shell out the hundreds of thousands of dollars for the talent to work in here. What we're going to do is create any custom reports that you want. You're actually looking at one that I'll show you in a minute, which is hyper-specific to BrightPearl. And we're going to deliver these custom reports to you back into Glew, the system. And right now, I am in the BI Tunnel section. And what we're going to do is showcase the BrightPearl-centric dashboards that only a BrightPearl customer is going to be able to grasp. Now, Stu, do you want to add something?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I just want to just the usual caveats. So these are not quite released. There's a huge amount of work that's happened over the last 6 months to get us to this point. So everything that we're looking at right now, there's a good chance it will be released as we see it. But Yeah, subject to the usual caveats of things maybe changing or being reprioritized. But yeah, I just want to put that out there, and also just re-emphasize the fact that this is included as part of the offering. You get the Glew.io and the Brightpearl dashboards out of the box. The customizations, initially there will be the handful of dashboards. The customizations will be, possibly something that we offer down the line. Right now, what we've done with Glew, using the expertise of the experts in this field, it's one of the reasons why we've partnered with you guys, is we've taken what we feel are the most important, most high priority reports to deliver to our customers based on everything that we know. So yeah, I just wanted to pop that in there.
Yeah. Thank you, Stu. And to reiterate, what Brightpearl and Glew have always tried to do is make this as what I call transactional as possible, or as they say more like more mainstream, out of the box as possible, right? We want to free up your critical thinking muscles to think about the actual KPIs and insights in a prescriptive way, but always know, like Stu alluded to, if you ever needed to get super complex for any reason, what Brightpearl and Glew are going to do is we're going to take care of you, of course, but we would of course expect you to digest what's out of the box first, and let's just just enjoy what you've already got. And then if you want to get super custom, you can always buy more stuff from Brightpearl and Glew. Always, right? We're not going to turn your money away, right? But we don't want to. We want to make the quality as high as possible with the cost as low as possible.
Yeah.
Now, the first one that I wanted to show you guys is a couple of the ways that you should think about dashboards. And you're going to notice when you see these reports and visualizations that we start with big numbers. Although not as sexy, big numbers are going to be the way to go, because it's a slap in the face as to the information that you need on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. But you're also going to want to see that period change underneath. You'll be able to show parameters at the top, so you will be able to adjust and add filters and control the date ranges and such. But definitely take out in this case, the Brightpearl sales and discounts report. We'll take a look at your gross sales, and net profit, since that's obviously top of mind. You'll also have your revenue by channel broken out of the box, channel being the channels that you have mapped out in the Brightpearl backend. But you'll also want to see your discount by channel to understand the opportunity cost that you're leaving on the table in order to secure those sales. What is also very important isn't just what I mentioned is the quantitative analysis, right? Which is the overall revenue and the overall discount, but also the average order value by channel. In my opinion, and this is just me doing this, 1,000 times a month, when you have a huge average order value for a channel, you're going to want to drive that average order value down by investing more in that channel, right? I mean, if I have, let's say, the Shopify green feathers down here, my average order value is $58. Well, chances are is that the volume of the orders are very high, which is why the AOV is low. Whereas if I have a higher average order value, like with the Alexander Francis channel here, well, there's diminishing marginal returns to capture, right? I'm going to abandon green feathers and take that time and money and invest it in the efficiencies to be gained by paying attention a little bit more to the channel that's bringing me the bigger fish. So a powerful chart, but also super, super straightforward. The next one is going to be the Brightpearl sales overview. At the top, you'll have your gross revenue period over period. What period? I don't know. You tell me. Right? My cost of goods sold as it changes period over period. My net profit, and then my orders. What you'll also have, this is probably my favorite chart, is similar tiles up here, but broken out over time to see that breakdown as it moves, right? I got my gross revenue, which is the green line, which is the overall cumulative amount of cash I'm pulling in over the time period. I'll then knock down my cost of goods sold, which is obviously the yellow line, and then my profit, which is the difference. So very nice to see that broken down visually. And by the way, I've also seen if you do want to get custom, maybe laying over a little bit of ad spend too. So you can, again, start top line and move our way down all in one visual. Orders by channel, obviously straightforward. I don't know if I have to go into why this is important. My gross revenue by channel, again, adding a little bit of qualitative comparison here. And then my top orders by lead source and my top revenue by lead source. So maybe, hey, Stu, not to put you on the spot because I work with like over 100 sources, so I can't be familiar with every data endpoint out of every API. But maybe when you say lead source, maybe you can talk a little bit as to how a lead source data endpoint applies to a Brightpearl customer, and maybe what this means a little bit more, because I can't speak as intelligently to it as maybe you or Scott could.
Yeah, I probably am the wrong person. I know it's an attribute for orders, so I can picture it and I can visualize it on the order entry screens within Brightpearl, exactly where it comes from. I'd have to, if anyone's interested in that, then ping me a note afterwards and I'll get the answer. I think
I'm going to assume
it's probably also on our online help pages as well. If anyone just types in lead source there, probably finds exactly what that relates to.
I love it. And I'm also looking here, I can see the lead source could be help desk or word of mouth or email. So it might seem like this might be looped into some type of survey or some type of attribution. And just note, guys, that when we're talking about attribution modeling, you are talking to the experts. In fact, it's probably where I spend 80% of my consultancy speaking about, where there's so many other things to talk about. But if you ever want to talk attribution, please push us to the test because we'll answer any and all of your questions about it. The next one's going to be the customer's overview, right? So now we're breaking away a little bit from the higher level big numbers and KPIs and delving a little bit more into a specific area. And we'll have our total customers that bought from us in whatever time period that we are thinking about, right? You determine it. The revenue from those customers. But I think what's important here is the revenue from the new customers. New versus repeat customer retention is probably one of the most misunderstood and universally, I'll say, not only misunderstood, but people don't think of it in the right way. And here at Glew, we're going to help coach you through that. So what do I mean? All versus repeat, all versus new customer revenue. In Glew, typically, our new customers are customers who place their first order with you inside the date picker that you're looking at. Where a repeat customer is someone whose first order with you falls before the date picker that you're looking at, but also place an order with you inside the date picker that you're looking at. It's all about managing time, right? Which is the biggest crippler to any type of analytical lift. How powerful to, in the past, let's say month or for January, to see the revenue that I'm pulling in from my new customer acquisition versus my repeat customer acquisition. Or excuse me, I'm so sorry. All my customers' revenue in contrast to my repeat customer revenue. I am so sorry, guys. The blue is all my customers' revenue, and the gray is my new customer revenue. And the difference, of course, is the repeat customer revenue. So what I'm trying to say is that this conveys in a very powerful visualization the amount of money you're pulling in from your loyal repeat customers versus the amount of money in gray that you're pulling from all the new customers acquired in this time period. Now, to get more complex, what if you wanted to see this all versus new customer orders, right? Or all versus new customer in general. The revenue, of course, is an important starting place, But to whet your appetite, to qualify this data even further, you might want to consider a custom report along the same lines, not just looking at revenue, but orders and just customers in general, in order to understand further how to change your behavior for the more profitable. Down here's your customer list. I mean, I think this is just important from an operational standpoint to understand, oh, take a look at all my repeat customers and let's say January 8th, 2020. Maybe I want to track those guys down and ask them why they had a big spike here. So something to think about. And then my customer order, customer items ordered, and customer AOV. The crescendo here will be the lifetime value curve, okay? So how do we use a customer LTV curve? Well, remember, lifetime value is the average order value of your customers multiplied by the purchase frequency of your customers. But most of our clients in the multi-channel world are going to want to focus on purchase frequency customers, right? Like usually when you're selling through multi-channel, you're selling clothes or CPG goods or maybe electronics or some type of product where you would very much like to get a customer you already have to come back and buy from you because it's cheaper to upsell a current customer than to buy a new one. So it's really, really important to pay attention to your customer LTV curve. Your repeat customers or the repeat revenue, which is going to be the difference. Here are all the blue that you can see up here. The repeat revenue is pushing your lifetime value up, right? So if I were to cut acquisition altogether for anyone's business, what would happen is their finite group of customers would keep buying things, which would put tremendous pressure on the LTV in the upward direction, which is great until you saturate that customer base with product, right? I mean, if you're selling clothes, how many clothes is one person going to buy from you before they die, right? You're going to eventually hit a diminishing marginal returns on that action, which is why we need the new customer, right? The gray here. Each new customer that you're acquiring is starting with a lifetime value of 0. And that new customer acquisition is putting healthy downward pressure on the slope of this lifetime value curve, which is a positive thing. So for those of you watching, you have a great behavior change out of the box with your Brightpearl data. If your lifetime value curve is spiky like we see it here, well, you know that that's not sustainable. You're saturating your current customer base with product. So you're going to want to acquire and push your customer or your LTV back down. Whereas if your LTV is flat or falling, like let's say from February to March, well, it's cheaper to upsell a current customer than to buy a new one. So back here, we would probably want to upsell. So something to think about as you get more and more in tune with your data, right? By the way, apologies for butchering that new versus repeat customer KPI. The text was really small. I might need some glasses over here. All right, last stop. I know that I've been a little bit long-winded. Is the product overview dashboard that you'll get out of the box. Products sold period over period. Products received period over period. Right? Super intense Brightpearl centric data. Top 10 products by units sold. Worst 10 products by units sold. This has huge implications for where you're going to consider liquidating product or where you're going to consider maybe hiking prices for a product, right? I don't have to go into all the behavior changes here unless you really want me to. Units sold by category and units sold by brand. Very, very cool. Again, very straightforward. I don't know if I have to articulate why that's valuable. Revenue, COGS, and gross profit. Top 10 products by revenue. Worst 10 products by revenue. Just the bell curves of your products, right? Or the tails of the bell curves of your products. And then my revenue by category and my revenue by brand. Ooh, look at this product affinity matrix. Very neat. and then my sell-through rate. I'm going to spend the last couple minutes here before we open up for questions on sell-through rates, because this is probably one of the most painful pieces of the inventory management and something that Glew is an absolute expert in. You're going to want your sell-through rate to be 100%. And you'll see that right here. I actually just got off a call. Hey, can you guys see my screen still? I'm using a sticky note.
Yep.
Stu, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. You can see I actually just got off of a call talking about a sell-through rate, but I'm going to re-articulate what it is. A sell-through rate equals the amount sold in a given time period, which is that little annotation here, because the movement of your capital is all about time periods, divided by the amount on hand in the beginning of the time period. As I try to type this. Okay. But think about this. What if the amount that you sold in a time period was greater than the amount that you had on hand in the time period? Well, that means you sold more than you had, which means you missed out on profit. Shame on you. You got to do a better job of forecasting next time. What if the amount that you have on hand in the beginning of the time period is greater than the amount that you sold? Shame on you. You're over-ordering product. You're locking up your cash in things that nobody wants. The reason why this is an awesome metric and why you can't get anywhere else is that you have this number, the amount sold in the time period, right? That's out of Brightpearl. But the amount that you had on hand at the beginning of the time period normally doesn't live anywhere, which is where the Glew Intelligent Data Warehouse comes into gear, where we artificially create that data endpoint for you so that we can reference back to it later. If I come back in here, we're now going to want to take our products and probably rank them in order of ascending or descending. And I'll probably do it ascending so that I can start understanding what products are hot and what products do I have to do a better job of forecasting, which are in hot demand. And if I reverse it to descending, I'll have a deep understanding of what products I might want to liquidate and maybe go ahead and discount and offer to people who only buy at a discount to save the full price products for the full price customer. So I'm not going to wait for this dummy data to load, guys, but I'm going to pause here. I've been doing a ton of talking, and I'd love for maybe Stu, for you to go ahead and ask any questions, or maybe we open it up to the group with the last couple minutes that we have together to have more of a Q&A area of the call, as opposed to me just running people through conceptual data.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we've got a few questions. So the first one, I just want to reiterate. So it says, is this feature available, or is this a demo for an upsell to Brightpearl features within Glew? So just to be really clear, so if you're an existing Brightpearl customer, we've partnered with Glew to bring everything that Mark's just shown out of the box. We've spent the time, all of the kind of the effort and the long nights, really working together in partnership to deliver the Brightpearl dashboards. And the Glew IO element of this is available out of the box. It will connect to your e-com store, provide all of those metrics and analytics. Like Mark said, the Brightpearl dashboards is the icing on the cake. If you're an existing Brightpearl customer, we give you those Brightpearl dashboards at no additional cost. So you get Glew IO and the Brightpearl dashboards. Hopefully that answers your question.
Hey, Stu, I'm going to also add that those Brightpearl dashboards, if you want to assign a monetary value to them, are thousands and thousands of dollars. Like Stu said, we've been collaborating together to bring these to life. So you're getting one hell of a value proposition to get those. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, nice. There's another question. So how much is Glew Plus? So I think probably the easiest thing, Mark, if you just maybe answer the question by explaining what is Glew Plus versus what you've just demoed today.
Yeah, great question. So we have a lot of different names of standard offerings flying around, right? We have Glew.io, we have Glew Plus, we have Brightpearl Analytics by Glew. So let me go ahead and flesh out for you exactly what these are. Glew.io is a standard offering, right? I mean, it is a product. The updates to it move at a glacial pace because there's tens of thousands of merchants around the world using it. And it has that one-to-one relationship with each of your e-commerce stores. So when I say Glew.io, I'm talking about everything in the online store down to marketplaces where everything is just out of the box universally. BrightPearl Analytics by Glew is a combination of whatever's out of the box in Glew.io, as well as any of the custom reports that are centric to the BrightPearl data, which will be provided out of the box for you. So that's what BrightPearl Analytics by Glew is. So let me articulate one more time. Glew.io and BrightPearl Analytics by Glew are standard offerings. There's no customizations, right? They're out of the box and plug and play, ready to go and alive when you are, or ready to use when you're ready to use them. What Glew Plus is our terminology for your own dedicated intelligent data warehouse, okay? So BrightPearl, I've worked with some BrightPearl clients so far that actually have the SQL talent to be able to come into the back end of something like this. And there's value for some businesses out there who have people in-house who know something called SQL right here, to actually manipulate and analyze and gain access to all the tables directly. You'll see all the BrightPearl data here, right? BrightPearl channels, BrightPearl contacts, BrightPearl tags, BrightPearl customers, etc. And to manipulate these tables and charts and visualizations ongoing to get to even more customized metrics without having to go through a third party like BrightPearl or Glew. So I don't want to hijack the conversation today, but if you have the talent in-house, definitely something that you might want to chat with Stu and the BrightPearl team about, and they'll introduce you to me over here at Glew, and I can hold your hand, provide you the right service, and give you a great price for going in through your BrightPearl system.
Awesome, thanks, Mark. And I think there was a follow-up question. I don't think I quite answered it, which is that the person who answered the question is a Glew.io customer, not a BrightPearl customer. So obviously the BrightPearl dashboards are taking the data out of the BrightPearl system. So just to kind of clarify, BrightPearl is a retail operations platform. We manage stock levels, we manage sales, customer data, financial data, all of your order processing, your warehouse processes. So if you don't have a BrightPearl account, the BrightPearl dashboards won't work in your Glew.io. Another quick question there, Mark. It says, how long does it take to get Glew Plus set up to something similar to what we've done with BrightPearl today?
Well, it's a good question. So to stand up the technology stack takes about 24 hours. Okay. The implication in the question, though, is the innovation that you're asking. And that innovation happened in this black box, right? As well as conversations between BrightPearl and Glew ongoing. How long does that take? Oh, man. I mean, I have one client who's legit a rocket scientist. He actually used to work at SpaceX with Elon Musk and stuff, right? And for him, innovation for him comes naturally, and he's pumping out all kinds of crazy attribution models and all kinds of unique insights that he's able to articulate and explain to his clients and boss in ways that even I can't, and I do this every day. I also have clients who aren't as sophisticated, right? Like maybe they want to keep things super simple to begin with. What I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to evade the question, but what I'm saying is the time to value depends on the person behind the scenes who is thinking critically about the data. I will tell you, though, that we have a big area of our business called Glew Advisory Services, where we will sit down with you personally and accelerate that time to value to take whatever is in your imagination and to bring that to life as high quality as possible, and also at the cheapest cost possible too. Nice,
thanks. And it's an important point, right? So yeah, Mark, we won't share the kind of all the effort and the months of work and planning and calls and things that we've gone through. But we've chosen Glew because we get a huge amount of value out of the box. We've created the dashboards, which we think our customers are going to love. And they're out of the box. So we're trying to make this as simple as possible. But then there is an upgrade path, if you want to call it that, for businesses where, you do have the skills, in-house to be able to manage, a more customizable solution, if you want. So hopefully something for everyone there. Any other questions? Just in case, just whilst we were just waiting in case there's any other kind of questions coming through, just to kind of, if anyone on the line, and I know there's quite a few, if you're an existing Brightpearl customer, there's lots of ways to get in touch with us. If you've got a technical account manager or your account manager, if you're an existing customer, you can reach out to them, or you can send an email to hello@brightpearl.com. If you're not an existing Brightpearl customer and you're interested in Brightpearl, then again, hello@brightpearl.com, or just go to brightpearl.com. The website, there's forms and demo requests and various other things as well. So lots of easy ways to get hold of us.
Yeah, and I can't stress that enough. I'll just repeat two things for Stu's benefit. Number one, please go to Brightpearl. You could come to Glew directly, but we want the experience to be as high quality as possible at the lowest cost possible, and that requires going through Brightpearl, okay? The second thing is, I expect this, if this is your first time with data, to be overwhelming, right? That's the point. I get a question a lot. Mark, when's the training on Glew over? Well, I don't know. When is critical thinking over? It's never over. I do this 20 hours a day, and I literally learn something new every single day. So what we're here to do is we're here to build that confidence, right? Where we'll personally sit down with you, and I'm going to ask you me and Stu ask you a few simple questions just to get an idea of just how advanced you are. And if you've been doing this for 10 years, like let's say you've been standing up databases for 10 years and know R and Python. Great. We're going to find that out in 30 seconds, and we're going to take the conversation all the way up to the rocket science stratosphere. Whereas maybe if this is your first intro and you just need some profitability numbers, that's cool too. But the neat thing is there's no glass ceiling on where you can go with your data. The limitation is your willingness to invest in yourself. And I think that's pretty cool to say out loud, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Nice.
Cool.
Excellent. Brilliant. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
I think we're done. On the questions. Hopefully that means we've answered everything.
Yeah, excellent. So guys, like I said, if you have any questions, please go to Brightpearl. We're very excited to bring you on board if you're not already, and we'll see you probably on a one-on-one session or so, hopefully.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark.
Awesome.